What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a big surprise, something I did not see coming. You see, we've been talking about OP-05 for a little while now. It's a very cool set. It is a set I'm extremely excited about, and I've actually been able to pick up a couple booster boxes of OP-04. As a quick side note, if you go into One Piece TCG stores in Japan, OP-02, OP-03, and OP-04, not OP-01, Romance Dawn's gone, but every set except Romance Dawn is actually ready available in One Piece TCG shops. Now, they limit to 3 total items per day, but a booster box counts as an item, not 24 items. But you can, like twice, I've been to 2 One Piece TCG stores, and both times I have very casually just kind of wandered in and bought a box of OP-04, and we're not talking first thing in the morning. Both of them I've been to quite late in the day. So just a quick little heads up for you. If you're after those cards and you're in Japan, they are actually very easy. I know most of you aren't in Japan, but the point is they are readily available, and I think that's lovely. But one of the things that I've been showing you about this set is that we've got Manga Luffy, and we should. Like, Gear 5 Luffy is coming into the manga at the moment. Well, it's been actually in the manga for a while. I mean, the anime. It's been in the manga for a little while. It's now coming into the anime. And it's kind of awesome, honestly. We like it. It's very, very cool. And this is clearly a set which is celebrating Gear 5 Luffy. This shouldn't be surprising to anyone. What is surprising to me, and I'm willing to bet most of you as well, it is not the only manga card which is coming in the set. And this is weird, and this is very, very, very unusual. In OP-01, we had Manga Shanks. Manga Shanks was a big deal. It was the first manga card that we'd ever actually seen, and it was the coolest card in OP-01. Everybody loved it. Few people actually pulled it, but it was cool and it had a very high rarity, and it was a real chase card. You know, the super rares, etc., and the secret rares are fun. They're not really chase cards, though, because they're not that rare. Manga Shanks was a chase card. Then Paramount War came along, and we got ourselves a Manga Ace, which everybody loved because Ace is a very popular character, and Ace is cool, and this was awesome. In OP-03, we got ourselves a Manga Soge King. Now, obviously, this was the one that I pulled, because nobody really wants this one. And it's not that it's not cool, it is a very, very cool card. It's just, I think it's fair to say, the least popular of them. I don't think that's particularly unfair. So, yeah, that was a thing. It was all good. But then we got to OP-04, and OP-04 came and surprised us a little bit. Nah, not even that much. It was Sabo. We got ourselves a Manga Rare Sabo, and again, what we see here is, you know, One Piece really focusing in on the popular characters and giving us Manga Rares of those characters. So then we came along, and we got ourselves a Manga Rare of Luffy in OP-05, and we were like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I understand this, I get this is fine. And now it turns out that's not the only one. There are 3 Manga Rares in OP-05, and look, given everything we've seen in the One Piece TCG lately, and given that Luffy is one of them, I think you can probably guess who the other 2 are. It's Kid, and it's Law. Of course it's Kid, and of course it's Law. How could it possibly be anybody else? I kind of like this, honestly. We've just had Starter Deck 10, the 3 captains. Now we end up coming along with these 3, and something about this just feels right. One Piece lately have been making this big deal about the 3 captains. Again, probably because, you know, that's the arc in the anime we're in at the moment, and them all joining forces and all of that is lovely. Seems like that's the kind of thing that's going on here. And this is a big deal, but I want to caution everybody for a moment here, don't go over the top with this. Don't look at this and be like, well, hang on a second, that means we're going to be getting 3 Manga Rares every set. No, that is not the case. OP-05 is special, and we know OP-05 is special. OP-05 is a set which is clearly being used to celebrate the One Piece TCG, you know, the first anniversary thereof. We've got, obviously, the Luffy Manga Rare, which we've all been waiting for. That's kind of a big deal. We've got the Luffy drawn by Oda for the TCG, which is a huge deal. So just bear in mind here that this is very much a case of a special set. They're really going overboard for OP-05. It's one of the reasons I'm so excited for it. And expect this to be an exception rather than the rule. Now, let's be clear, I don't actually know that. It might not be an exception. This might be the rule going forward. Yes, it could be the fact that from now on we have 3 Manga Rares in every set. But we've had 4 sets with 1 Manga Rare each, and now we've got a set which is being used as an anniversary set where they very deliberately gone and made a point of saying, hey, now you get 3, and they are the 3 captains. Like I say, this could be a thing moving forward, but I would be very, very, very surprised if that was the case. Cool? Cool. So now we can have a look at them then. Let's start off with Trafalgar Law. Now, this is the one from OP-05. It is a reprint of the one from OP-05. The Manga Rares are always alternate arts of ones from the same set, so reprint probably isn't really the word to use anyway. But what we've got here is when attacking, 3 cost 5,000 power, no counter. When attacking, if your opponent has more Dawn on their field than you do, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a Heart Pirates card and add it to your hand, place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And this is the kind of card we've seen over and over again in the One Piece TCG. We've seen it. I mean, Nami's your classic kind of set 1 example here. We saw it with Nami in Romance Dawn. And then kind of ever since then, we've been getting this pretty regularly for everybody. Honestly, this has been something we just see over and over again for pretty much every type of deck. One thing that's important to note here, of course, is that normally they look more like Nami, which is to say a 1-cost card that works on play. This is when you are attacking, and it's an every turn thing, which is big. Now, you do have to have fewer Dawn on the field than your opponent, but come on, this is a purple character. And the one thing that purple decks do, like all the time, is shuffle Dawn back into their deck. The big thing about Dawn, in purple decks is they've got Dawn minor skills. So most of the time you will have fewer Dawn on the field than your opponent, so it shouldn't be a particularly big deal. I like this card. This card is cool. The other one we've got here is the Captain Eustis Kid. Again, 3 captains makes perfect sense. 5 cost 6,000 power, counter plus 1,000, and you've got blocker. Pretty good blocker, honestly. 5,000 is what you need before you can actually go attacking into your opponent's leader. Generally speaking, their leaders have 5,000 power with a couple of very rare exceptions. So here, this is kind of your opponent attacks with 5,000 power, the standard, and you actually beat them by 1,000. This is a very, very good thing. But it's not just blocker we've got here. You're on your turn, once per turn, when a Dawn card from your field is returned to your Dawn deck, add a Dawn from your Dawn deck as active. Again, we've got the whole purple decks like putting Dawn back into the deck. They like their Dawn minor skills. Well, here, the first time you use a Dawn minor skill during your turn, because it is obviously once per turn, it'll be flat out broken if it was. I mean, it would be game-breakingly ridiculous if it wasn't limited to once per turn. But yeah, so the first time during your turn that you lose a Dawn card, you get it back, as in lose it from a Dawn minor skill. And this is phenomenal. This kid is a great, great card. The fact that you can, every time, the first time you do this, you get a Dawn back is really over the top good. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal skill. All these cards are cool. And the fact that we're getting all 3 of them is genuinely a big deal. But like I told you a minute ago, although I cannot say for absolute certain that it is just an exception, nobody knows. Even if people say they know, they don't actually know unless they work for Bandai, in which case they're going to be under an NDA. So if they tell you they're breaking their NDA and going to get fired, so they ain't going to tell you. Yeah, nobody knows. But it is very likely, I think overwhelmingly so, that what we've got here is an exception. The first time, because this is very much being pegged as the first anniversary set, and it's got everything that goes along with it. What are the pull rates going to be? Well, there's 2 options here. Either you make the Manga Rares as rare as normal, and then each of these is actually 3 times rarer than your average Manga Rare card, or You make them 3 times as common, so it's as hard to get a set as it is to get the regular. We don't actually know which way they're going to go here, we're going to have to wait and see. For now, I got a very simple question for everyone watching, and that is just which of these 3 do you want to pull? So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWarcy. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.